I tried to read more, made it to the second page of chapter 5, and then I said, never mind.
Hold on, let me tell you where I got to.
So,
Okay. I made it to chapter 7.
oh yeah, I didn't make it that far.
Yeah. But it took me days to do that. I kept having to stop, go back, stop, go back, because things just kept getting weirder and fuckier and just nuttier. Yeah.
I stopped reading after she said, because D stands for dick, and I'll bet he has a big one, I'd suck him dry. You filthy, filthy girls, you want a drink?
Oh, it kept going.
Couldn't. I don't even know how this episode's gonna go, so.
I had no idea.
This is a regular episode. It's not gonna sound like a regular episode. It's gonna be a hot mess. Exactly like this book.
Was that the intro?
Yep. You're welcome.
Well, that was very on brand.
This book was not on brand. This book was
this book is not on brand.
Well, what's the name of the book?
This book is not on anyone's brand.
What's the name of the book, Ariel?
We were supposed to read the Love Is series this week. It started with Love Is Sweet. I don't know what the rest of them are because we didn't get to them. Love is something.
Love is a freight train of disaster.
Love is... Have you ever seen one of those wiggle maps where like the pen just goes in like whatever direction it damn pleases? That was this book.
Oh my God. You know that meme with Charlie Day and he's got the wall with all the strings? That was this book.
No, you know, okay. I'm gonna make fun of myself for a second because either people are going to relate to me or I'm gonna look crazy. But this book was when you're laying in bed at night and you're trying to fall asleep. And I don't know, I might be the only one on the planet who does this, or everyone might do this. I don't know. But you create a story in your head to like help yourself fall asleep. But then you're like falling asleep. So you're like in and out of sleep. So then your semi-consciousness changes up the fuck out of your story. But then you have to come back in. So it's like, where the fuck did those aliens come from? That has nothing to do with this romantic comedy that you got going on. And then you kind of get your story back on track a little bit, but then you start to fall asleep again. And then all of a sudden, like a tsunami hits and then like all this shit is going on. That was this book. This book was less successful than those crazy nights, the worst ones I've ever had. This book was less successful. Just saying. Sorry, continue.
I'm so sorry. I'm a horrible human. I'm so sorry. Have you ever had a nightmare and woken up because you had to pee or something and then gone back and gone straight into your nightmare and tried to pull yourself out of the nightmare? Mm-hmm. This book was less successful than that attempt.
Yes, it was.
This is like a nightmare on top of a nightmare, including penises and being a stripper and like very, very poor grammar.
No penises.
And very poor grammar and weird commas all over the place.
Spoiler alert. We didn't even finish the first book and it was only like 100 pages.
I made it to the end of chapter 5.
I made it to chapter 7.
And you know what we had to do?
So, okay, this is a first for us. Just saying.
Not a first to DNF.
Okay. This book was so bad. And we didn't know if it was just us because we've been reading some good shit lately. Good shit. Lollipop. Okay, I don't even know. So
there should be shit on your good ship lollipop. Come on, don't shit on the lollipops.
So we didn't really know if it was just us. Like, it couldn't be that bad, right? Like, there's no way that this book could be that bad. So we enlisted some help. We contacted a friend and we were like, look, can you please read this? Like, I apologize in advance. Just get as far as you can. And can you just tell us how bad this is? Is it normal? Are we the problem or is this book the problem? And our friend Angie, who's a book talker, read Love Is Sweet with us. And fortunately / unfortunately, she agreed that it was the worst thing in the world, basically. We have notes. So
yes, our good TikTok friend Angie, originally we have an episode that's coming out
cool shit.
In 10 days from this episode is the episode with Angie in it. That's a little trade secret for you. Wink, wink.
We got her to read with us because she cool beans.
She's dope. So we decided that we had to bring her in because, like, was this that bad?
She likes good stuff.
And the thing
But,
is,
like-
too, is like, we are judgy bitches. And like,
And we are so judgy bitches. We just need to know if like someone normal felt as strongly as we did about this book. And not only that, but like I said, we just got off some like well-written stuff. And when I get into a book and I'm like, dude, the first page is giving me like an aneurysm. Don't even know like what I'm going to do here. And I even had to, we need to write this shit down. I even had to get Crystal to read this book days before we recorded because I was not going to trust myself to be able to get through all these 3 books to make it to the night before, to have Crystal be like at 1:00 in the morning, be like, I can't do this.
unless you want me to shit on it the entire time, which we're going to anyways. I'm so sorry.
Sorry, spoiler alert. This book sucks. I mean, we hate to do that, but some books are not winners.
There's a couple
Sorta.
times we have DNF'd a book and just not talked about it.
And right.
They
And
can't
Crystal
all-
kind of pulled me up like by my big girl panties and was like, Ariel, we cannot just DNF another book and substitute it again. We've already done that like twice. We need to actually have like a back and forth here. Like not every book is a winner. Sometimes it's okay to talk about the fact that some book is not a great book. And that's okay.
Ariel just is always concerned about making people mad.
Oh, clearly not when it comes out of my mouth. I don't want to recommend that people read a book. I don't want them to see the name of the episode and go, oh, I should read that book because I don't want to put people through that torture. That's what I mean. You know,
Don't worry.
don't read this book.
Don't read it. Please don't read it. So yeah, we're going to
Don't
bring
read this book. This is not an advertisement to read this book. This is an advertisement to listen to us shit on this book. You're welcome.
And then we have
Sorry.
an extra.
We're entertaining sometimes.
And then we
think so.
have an extra special surprise with Angie, which we'll tell you in a minute. With no context, the second part of this episode with you will be preparation for Ariel's cross-examination, and that is all.
I think I did something bad. No, shit. I didn't do anything bad.
You must not bring Taylor Swift into this episode. You guys.
I didn't do anything bad. Literally, not. That's not. This is
I
not
don't
where
know
I'm
if you
going
can
with
see
this.
it, but I love it. It's an Eras sweatshirt, and I'm here for it. Girl, listen.
I didn't get to go to the concert, but my friend who lives in Texas, she works at a stadium where they held the air. And I was like, did you get me a sweatshirt, please? And she's like, of course. I love her
I
so
love that.
much.
Listen,
We got it.
we were a hot mess express prior to bringing you in, and I don't expect it to ever end because this book was
I'd be
terrible.
disappointed if it did.
Man,
Well, we
she's known us for like 2 weeks, and she's got us.
she has us on lockdown.
She gets us. She's stuck with us in our group chat, baby.
She knows where the exit button is.
I wouldn't say stuck. I would say I'm very much there by choice.
Did you know you can mute things? You can
You
mute
don't
it.
know how to mute me.
It
I
doesn't work.
will
I've been
not
friends with her
mute you.
for 20 years. She never shuts the fuck up. If you mute her, she will just call you.
All right, then. Good to know.
This could have been a text message, but
She does. That's how she starts every phone call. I know this could have been a text message, but and then I'm like,
because she gives me shit all the time.
I
She's
don't
like,
like
could this have
phone
been,
calls.
I don't like phone calls
Well,
either.
I don't like texting sometimes.
Voice text, you dumb bitch.
I've
Voice
been doing that
note.
a lot. Yeah.
I do too, and then
Yeah.
it really fucks me over every time.
Yeah. We were just talking about the book that we were supposed to read this week and what happened and how we had to bring in help.
We were talking prior to bringing you in, Angie, about our opinions on this horrific book, and that we really, really needed to bring another person in to make sure we were being who we are as people.
Nope. Although I don't know how fair that assessment is because I was reading Whiskey Business, albeit today and then last night, and it was a really good read and I super loved it, but I still gave it a 4 out of 5 because Ariel's influence on me. I'm just like, oh, formatting error. I'm like, I need at least less than 5 of these so that I can now rate it a 5 out of 5 because my new friends have turned me into a snob. So
I don't even know who wrote this damn book. Oh, Nikki Grace. I probably shouldn't say because we're going to do some not nice things over here, but
I mean,
If you
Is
write a
it
shitty
really?
book, we're gonna talk shit about your book. I don't know what else to say.
I think that there's a
Listen.
certain like known risk when you're publishing anything, you know, you're putting your work out there to be praised or destroyed. Like, you
And
don't
this
really,
should have stayed in her drafts.
they say that beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Okay,
I-
so Love is Sweet is about a girl named Piper. So Piper, it tells us in the beginning of the book that she's a retired stripper, and then it goes on to tell us that she's not a retired stripper, that she is a retiring stripper. So either Piper or Nikki doesn't know the difference between retiring and retired, that they are two different words.
I think it's Piper because she's fucking dumb.
I was gonna. That's probably not that much of a surprise because we also don't know what commas are or how to use them, and we also don't know how to stick in the same like person because we were in the third person for a good portion of the book, and then randomly we would slide into first person. So that's what we were dealing with right off the bat.
Angie
You're
didn't know this was
welcome.
going to be a fucking episode of me wrecking somebody.
No, I knew that you were vicious. I know who you are.
I'm not fit for proper consumption. So that's just Piper. We haven't even gotten to Scott yet.
So I think to give the benefit of the doubt, like I think that Nikki wanted Piper to start thinking of herself as a retired stripper, even though she was retiring, because of the whole thing with like the aunt or whatever, to like put herself in the mindset of a retired stripper as she was nearing the end of her career, so that it was a little easier for her to move on because she
I also quit drinking soda.
I'm sure.
Good for me. Okay. See how well that works? I'm a little spicy. We're recording in the evening. You're welcome.
I'm sorry,
Um,
but this should be the fucking funniest episode ever. Oh my god.
So the other counterpart to this book is Scott. Oh, now Scott's a fucking psychopath. And red flags for days. Scott, in the beginning of the book, tells us that he works 3 weeks out of the month away from home, where he abandons his 1-year-old child for most of his life and just hops on a plane to LAX and just goes and does his thing. And not really. He goes somewhere else, but we're going with that because this is not a whole
I think
Jersey
it was like
situation
Nashville
again.
or something.
I don't really care where he goes. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm going to decide where he goes right now because that's how much I care.
Got
about
it.
this. He hops off a plane at LAX with
With a drink.
yeah,
Yeah.
with a dream in a cardigan. That's where we're
Yeah.
going with this. So that's what Scott's doing right now. Okay.
The cardigan came in
Um,
handy, apparently.
Yeah. Scott also is just like a little psychopath. He burns animals alive. Oh, yeah. You didn't get to that part.
We stopped reading at chapter 4.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Mhm.
know. So Angie, you ended in chapter.
She
4.
ended at the end of 4.
I
I
made
ended at
it.
the end of 6.
I made it 2 pages into chapter 2, and then I said no.
We were supposed to all get to like page 65 or something. So
And
we
then
were
stop,
to
and then
decide.
stop. And then I'm a glutton for punishment. And I just was like, I wonder just how much random shit could literally happen. Because okay, so we have the first chapter where this chick that we meet that doesn't know if she's retired or not gets her clothes stuck in an escalator, which honestly, literal fear unlocked. So I hated reading that because I hate escalators. My son loves escalators, but I hate escalators. So I'm always afraid I'm going to lose a fucking body part in them. And then you give me this scene where she's literally stuck in an escalator. Okay. Scene 1, escalator. Scene 2, she's a fucking lizard in her house. And the whole chapter is about a fucking lizard. Okay. Chapter 3 is about a barking fucking dog at her work and all this stuff. 4 is about, let's please hold.
Okay, while we're holding, I think that
Yeah.
chapter 2, the purpose of that, because she was also babysitting her friend's kid or friend's 4-year-old, whatever.
Oh,
I
we'll
think
get
I think the purpose of that, because God had a kid, is to show like, oh, she could potentially be a person that.
yeah, but then the kid gets hit by a car.
God had a cruel
Fair.
joke.
No,
I didn't
the
get
kid
there.
gets hit by a car. Okay, so 3 was the dog. Chapter 4 was technically the first date between these two, where you take a kid on the first date and you meet this guy's kid on the first fucking date. This is nuts. But it's all about how this random woman comes up to him thinking he's somebody else.
Oh
and
my
this
God.
whole altercation. It is nutso. Okay. Chapter 5 is about that kid getting hit by a fucking car.
Is it his son gets hit by a car or her friend's son gets hit by a car?
The one she babysits.
So,
No
okay.
connection. It's not while she's babysitting either.
Like, Nikki.
She just has to go to the hospital.
Did you just like run out of accidents because the kid's mother died in a car accident and now the kid that she babysits is car accident? Like, baby, there are more accidents in the world.
Don't worry, because this lady didn't run out of ideas, because it keeps going.
Oh God.
It keeps going. Because chapter 6,
Real quick, before I
Scott
move
has
on.
an accident.
Oh no. Oh no. Is it a car accident?
No, it's a work accident.
Got it.
But he's just as casted as the little boy. And then he sets an animal on fire, lives with her instead of his son. He ships his son off to the grandparents for the week and lives with her so she can take care of him and his castedness. And she learns what a lazy fob he is. And so is excited for him to leave for the 3 weeks.
Can we just talk about how this book is a fucking romance novel and they just skipped right over that first kiss? Like they were on their first date or whatever.
That's not all they skipped.
Ariel says they closed doored everything.
That's so
That
rude.
one scene that we thought was like gross and weird, that he like half fucked
There was
her
a
and then sent her on the stripper
Oh.
stage,
Oh,
unhappy
that scene.
and unsatisfied. That was all we got. Everything else, they're like, oh yeah, I've screwed him a couple times, or like we slept together this time, or like, oh then we slept together, and yeah.
What the fuck is the point of that?
You sat there, Nikki, and described to us in detail about the lady getting a pickle up her ass, which, by the way, is not something you can do.
Oh my god, I can't
You
believe I
can't-
glossed
first
over
of
the
all,
pickle.
If you put
Not actually, by the way.
if you put a
With
pickle up your
Vaseline.
ass with Vaseline, do you want to know where that pickle is going? Up your ass, and you're gonna have to go to the emergency
It's
room to
never
get it
coming
removed.
back.
No
That
flare
shit ain't coming out. There's
Nope.
no. Thank you, Ariel. Tell me about the pickle. I was like, I haven't gotten there yet. But no, you go into detail about this fucking pickle thing, and you close door.
And it didn't even happen to Piper. It was about Piper's friend who was sleeping with the neighbor, and he, like, all of a sudden something else was going up somewhere.
We just.
remember being like, that's a bit of a different shocker than we're usually used to reading. But okay.
That's not the double penetration we want.
No. No, it's
For those
not.
of you at home, do not try to surprise your significant other with a Vaseline covered pickle. That is not what we're looking for.
Also, we're looking for flared base items. If you're
All
going up the
flared
butt.
bases.
Yes,
Like,
you
there's
need you need
plenty.
a stopper. You
If
need a
you
stopper.
want, listen, if you want something, I guarantee you they make a pickle shaped one.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then you
pickles
can-
are your thing.
If
No
pickles
shame.
are your thing, I
But,
guarantee you
like,
there is one there.
Don't
for
put
you.
an actual pickle there. So not only did we have all of this chaos going on in this book, and then we have surprise pickles. We have no grammar skills whatsoever.
It wasn't
Everything is
even
hard
like,
to figure out.
if it was like organized chaos or chaos for some sort of purpose.
Sure.
But
that's
there is
exactly what
no-
Crystal had said. She compared it to, what was it, Fire Down Under? Fire Down Below.
Okay, so here's
So
what happened.
There-
So Fire Down Below is a hot mess express of a book. But here's the thing. I had called Ariel and I was like, hey, first of all, this book currently sucks. But it feels like it has Fire Down Below vibes, except for the fact that the author who wrote Fire Down Below purposely
intended it to be a dumpster
wrote
fire.
it that way. Like, it is a
Okay.
disgusting, and I think that this author,
This book was not written to be
literally-
intended to be a dumpster fire.
I think it was. I will say, especially when it comes to literature, equal
Yo.
opportunity fist. Like you
Yeah.
have very
I feel
It
weird
either is
about
good
it.
or it's not. I
This
like,
book though,
But
and
the thing
anyways,
is,
side
you
note,
have
this
like,
book was bad.
because of your lived experience, you have this like very specific perspective and you could do something wonderful with it that is outside of mainstream literature, like Shane Rose. Fucking love her. She does like dark romance and she fucking kills it. And it's not like, even if I were to like hate on one of her books, which come on, it's Shane Rose. Why would
I mean, but I mean, I can find a problem with any book in theory, but
This was bad. I wanted to see how many books she has
Well-
written and if this was her first book, and I don't think it was.
I'm just saying, this does sound awful when this is coming out of my mouth, but it is what it is. Makes me more frustrated because of the way that she was describing skin tones in this book, she should know better. I'm
Yes.
sorry. I don't mean to
Yes.
be like, I don't mean to be that kind of person, but if you know better, you do better. And of all people, like Black, Hispanic, all those people are so under described correctly in books so much that it is a problem in the book world, that to have a Black author be describing skin tones in such a weird way and not good way, like to have somebody have yellow skin. It's not.
I think that the term that she used was amber, and I was just like, amber?
Yeah. And I was like, does she have jaundice? Like, we couldn't pick any other description here. Like, you had a plethora of words that you could have like pulled out here.
It's different to be like, honey colored.
Right. I mean, even give me the generic tan, even better than that.
But
yeah.
And like, amber is how you describe the color of somebody's eyes, not their fucking skin. But, oh boy.
And I understand amber can be deep, like, it can get that deeper color. Most people know amber as that yellow, super duper yellow color. So most people are going to automatically go instantly in their mind to that super duper yellowy color. They're not going to go, well, occasionally it could have this shade. It's not, that don't work. So actually, that makes me more frustrated because people are under described and underrepresented enough that we don't need more people adding to that like that. I should know better.
It goes back to what I said about, because of your lived experience, you should have a
She
very
should
unique
know better.
Like,
right.
do something special with it.
Well, we had a lot
But that's why I feel, and it makes me maybe biased, but that's why when I read a book, it's Crystal's one to jump right on the bandwagon and look somebody up a lot. So I'll learn sometimes about
do it
people
all the time.
But when I rant about a book and I find that somebody who made a lot of errors and stuff has been a teacher for a while or something, that just irks me to no end, because I'm like, you are literally there to teach other people not to do this. And now you're doing this. I don't understand. I don't mean to hold these people to a higher pedestal, but you should know better. Like, hello.
Yeah. At first, the first two chapters,
Know
it was
better,
too
do
many
better.
commas. And then in the second,
switched.
like, chapters 3 and 4 was like, okay, run on sentences. Here we go.
And she used them all up in the first.
Yeah. There's a comma limit.
There's the comma allotment for the books.
The group chat got so chaotic at that point that I think it was Ariel that I wonder if they make a video about commas, educational, and then she dropped one.
Okay, just in case anybody is writing a book or finds this useful or just needs a comma refresher in general, but we give the kids movement breaks in school, but a lot of times we try to make them educational at the same time. So a lot of times we use a platform called Go Noodle, and every state that I've worked in has used this. So it's not just a New Hampshire thing. It's everywhere kind of uses it, but they have a Go Noodle video geared for children, like 3rd, 4th grade-ish, all about commas and how to use them correctly. And if you're not sure, like where to put them in the sentence, we can probably add it to the description in this video if you'd like.
Do you know if Schoolhouse Rock also does a comma
So
video?
I looked that up.
Probably.
Schoolhouse Rock has a punctuation one, so it kind of is thrown in a little bit. And punctuations are very helpful. The punctuation junction is very important for a lot of people. I think a lot of people really need to get to their roots on proper,
We're not writers, but we're really trying to help. It's very fucking painful.
This sounds really not kind, but truly
it
is meaning to be helpful. We want to read good products.
And that's the thing. Like, the choice to get up a book is such a I hate doing
it. Absolutely. And obviously those ideas are there, and we don't want to be turned off because people don't know how to use proper grammar.
Yeah. Like I said, the story itself of a retired or retiring stripper who like meets up with a single dad who it had potential, but it just the chaos.
And that's the thing is like, and we are ladies with ADHD, and this
and we couldn't keep up
with me. Like
Yeah.
and we couldn't keep up.
The
Like,
vibes
Fuck,
were
man.
we looked it up
It's like
and apparently
ADHD on
the
fucking crack. Like, Jesus.
the author is apparently from Georgia, but I said the vibes were, well, Ariel agreed with me. It was preteen Florida
This-
fanfic writer.
this was given to a preteen in Florida as a writing prompt. So the idea was solid there, but then the Florida preteen took off with it.
I think
Yeah,
Ariel was like, in the author's note at the beginning of the chapter, she probably would have been like, oops, sorry, running late for English class, lol.
Oh my God. So it was really difficult to fucking get through this book. And
So we didn't.
we didn't. So
Sorry.
But-
yeah.
The pickle was probably the last
The highlight.
resort for us.
It was really
We were like,
rough.
nope.
And I'm just gonna be for real. Like,
Honestly,
I
the
am-
last straw for me was the fucking stripper scene. I'm like, wait,
listen.
are they fucking? Wait, okay, so they're fucking now. Okay, no, they're not.
Would you like to know my last straw?
Yeah.
The straw that broke
The
Christmas-
burning of the animal was definitely my last. Because I took so many last straws, and then that was just I'm totally done with this.
Okay, just bear with me here, okay? This is chapter 5. Look at that chest. I'd like to lick things off of it. Wasn't it? That wasn't the moment. Not even this
No.
moment, which was fine by me. You can have him. I'm sure he isn't as sweet as my Scott anyways. We're in chapter 5. Because D stands for dick, and I'll bet he has a big one. I'd suck him dry. You filthy, filthy girl, you want a drink. This is her and her best friend talking, by the way. And then, what was it? In honor of your use of the letter D, how about I make us some daiquiris? And then I quit reading. I was like, I can't.
What?
I can't. My brain cells were dead.
And that wasn't even like that
That's not
poorly
even the
compared to like
worst.
the rest.
No,
No.
I just.
But-
yeah,
Welcome.
It was rough.
Do
So
better. Do better.
So there's not
Read
many
your
books
books,
that we're
please.
like, don't read, but save yourself. And
So here's the other thing. It has a 4.2 on Amazon,
are you fucking kidding me?
and it has a
I'm
3.
sorry, I should not have said that. So
It has a
aggressively.
3.7 on Goodreads.
No.
I need to know some of these reviews.
Don't
No.
worry.
No.
Should I give you
No. No.
Naughty
No.
Girls Need Love Too? Oh my God, I can already
that?
tell it's about to go down. I absolutely
In the
love
ground
this
because
book.
it's being buried because it's dead.
Was there
No,
was
no,
mystery
no.
with
Don't
this book?
confuse the novels for your brain cells. It's not dead.
Okay,
I don't
are
know.
you-
We only made it
Killing
50%.
you. Just killing you.
We literally lost brain cells reading this book.
okay.
Just
I
saying.
need to read this.
What?
Just
Oh, the review. I thought you meant the book.
just absolutely fucking no. I gave up on
Okay.
that shit. Are you kidding me?
Freaking-
It's just okay. This is not really a spicy book, but it is one of the best mystery books I've read in a long time.
Yes,
What?
the mystery of which way we're going to go next for each chapter.
I don't know. It's a mystery.
The mystery of what?
Just
It's
wait.
like
Just wait.
What random thing we're going to talk about next?
Just wait. One thing I loved about this book, about this author really, is how fleshed out all of the characters are.
Nothing about any of these characters except the best friend who likes pickles up her ass.
Who got paid to do this?
Doesn't. She didn't like that.
Well,
Doesn't.
no, wasn't mad.
She was surprised, is what it was.
This is the absolute best review I have seen. Hold on.
Oh.
No. This is the best review. I know. Don't panic, girl. This is the absolute best review I have ever seen of this book. Are you ready?
Wait, I'm
One
ready for it.
star. DNF at
That's
50.
more.
Lame.
Wait, what was the last one?
Lame.
Lame.
That is
Can it be
sustained.
our friend?
You get
You should
everything
comment and
needed
say, will you
out.
be our friend?
That was just
Honestly, if anybody else read
For
this
you.
book, can you please just chime in and let us know that we're not fucking crazy? Because I felt crazy.
Or tell us that we
Honestly,
are. Tell us
no.
what we missed. Tell us.
no. You didn't miss anything.
We're not going to give it a
because
try.
It's,
We're really
it's
not
one
gonna give it a
thing.
try.
I can't.
Here's
but-
the thing. Here's the thing. You guys have been reading together for 20 years, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just started
More
reading
than that,
with
yeah.
you. So if there was any way that it could have gotten like that something could have, I probably would have caught it.
That is true.
And that's why we enlisted
No.
Hangout.
No. This book is where Grammar goes to die. This is the book that all the unpublished authors are like, are you fucking kidding me right now? I can't
This
get
book
published, but
gives
this
indie
trash
author,
does.
this book gives indie authors a bad name.
When
But
I
it's
think
true.
about people like Hannah Nicole May, who she finally got a book deal and she's getting her book published and she's been working so hard on this shit for like 2 to 3 years. When I think about people like that, where I'm just like, people like that definitely deserve it. And you have people like this who have fucking 4-star review averages that don't deserve it. And I'm just like, this is the problem.
So
Do you know-
are the reviewers her preteen friends that are also illiterate?
I don't
it's
know.
probably her making fake accounts.
But
because
I'm going to tell you right now. Do you want a better book recommendation? Ice Planet Barbarians.
Has nothing to do with this.
Does
Genre.
too. It is now.
Yes,
It is
too,
okay.
actually.
So
yeah,
Hey, you know what?
same length.
That book follows more of this genre than this fucking book did.
Yeah, that's true. And it makes more sense than this book does.
And it's the
Ice Planet Barbarians stays on its own track throughout all the books.
and there's
Like right now,
40 of them.
I'm on book, I think 8. And
I've heard 8 is the weakest one.
oh, really?
I saw a comment that someone like that was the only one they didn't really like, but everything else is fine.
But the problem, well, the thing
I haven't
is,
gotten that far.
this book, so the book that we're reading now, or that we DNF, was like 120 pages. And by your guys' description, you guys told me that each of the Ice Planet Barbarian books averages
200.
around 200 pages. And just
Yeah.
like, if you want a short read that's actually going to be worth your time, go read that.
Ice Planet Barbarians.
Or the book that we read the other night, that was like what, 60 pages or something, 50 pages?
A book that I haven't read.
had more depth
Mhm.
in those 50 pages than this book could even dream of having. Like,
oh my God.
blows my brain. And it was a whole book. Like,
Yeah.
it's going to be a continuation, like Ice Planet Barbarians.
Yeah.
but-
Defiled.
Defiled.
Copy
Yes, go
Esther.
read Defiled.
Yeah, that shit was wild. Like, I was introduced by Ariel, and then she was like, "Oh yeah, the next one's coming out like next week," and I'm like, "Love that wait time for me. Love that for me because I
Mhm.
finished this book and I was just like, no, what happened next? Is you gonna
I
find
know.
it?
I want to know his whole life story.
What is going on?" Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm stoked.
So because of that and the fact that we didn't want to have an entire episode full of just shitting on a book, even though
Even though we've been shitting on this for a long time.
for a while,
We've been getting some people asking questions or different things, or giving us the suggestion that we should make a couple like get to know you videos on TikTok, because I know a lot of people do that and we have not done that. And I've had a couple people actually get confused when they realize that Crystal's the rom-com-y girl and I am the dark romance girl, because I guess she looks like she reads dark romance and I look like I read rom-com. So,
it's
I mean,
it's the whole like not exactly punk rock thing that she has about her.
with
but,
the
like,
piercings and the
yeah,
dyed hair.
the
and
haircut and the piercings. It's
Yep.
just a wrong assumption. But
So
what I,
we're a
what I
little bit of not what we look like, I guess.
what I
So
wanted
we
to help
thought that
with-
we'd turn it around and use some of this time and kind of get to know us a little bit during this time.
so I guess the escalator thing could be classified as a meet cute. I
I
guess.
called it a meet cute in my notes when I started
it
out.
is.
'cause
And I
didn't
think
know that it
Ariel
was
even
going
told
to-
me it was. I'm pretty sure you told me it was.
I
like,
literally,
the most
this is how
terrifying
far
meet
I
cute.
got with my timeline. I got escalator meet cute, first date with kid.
And then she
That
gave
is
up.
how far I got, because I just
Yeah.
stopped doing it after that because
So
it was bad.
meet cutes. What are some of your all-time favorite meet cute tropes that just off the top of your head?
Ooh. I really like a coffee shop beat cute. I've read a couple where like they like bump into each other. Oh, coffee, I'm so sorry. It's so cute.
But yeah, coffee shop meet cutes are cute.
Honestly, any meet cute in a rom com gets me every single time. So Ariel likes to call me a rom com princess because she's that person.
I did read this one by Elsie Silver. I think it was Powerless. The characters are Willa and Cade, and they have a bit of a coffee shop meet cute.
The most recent one that we have gone a little nutty for meet cute, like on here for, was that one night when they were in the bar. And yeah,
From
that one was super cute.
It's the
yeah.
prequel to Pucking Around. Oh, so cute. I
Yeah,
also
that one
really
was super
liked.
cute.
Sorry, I also really liked when we read and also watched the Wait with Me. I liked theirs with the tire shop and everything.
Yeah. So for me, this is going to sound awful, and maybe Crystal should plug her ears. I'm a sucker for a staged meet cute. So like when the guy like already knows everything about the girl or something and like pretends to meet her. I know those are yeah, but I like a little bit of a psycho in my life.
And I think here's why is because in real life, men just tend to put, in general, they just put so little planning into dating nowadays. Like, care is enough. Yeah, it's obsessive and it's a little psycho, but they care enough to plan and meet cute.
I like my boyfriends a little
Win is a win.
I like my book
win.
boyfriends a little obsessive.
I was gonna say.
It's a
I like my
win.
book boy.
I thought that Ariel was gonna say her favorite meet cute is when they get kidnapped and that's how they meet.
I am a sucker for a kidnapping or a trafficking meet cute.
There it is. I knew it. I was
Okay,
waiting.
I wasn't gonna say that on screen, but yeah, it is a
Oh my
weakness of mine.
God.
Girl, this is called
Oh.
We Don't Lie to People, and we're still gonna
Crystal.
say it. Yes.
She's gonna get to hunting Adeline and she's gonna start shipping what's his face. She's gonna do
Yeah.
it.
Dude, listen. Zade Meadows, man.
Oh,
You're giving away all our secrets.
He's the main dude in the books.
No. Yes, we're gonna read those books. They're coming.
Oh. By the way.
it's okay. We could just not put that one in. But
Okay.
That's fine. Listen.
I like to mess with Crystal all the time and do shit like that, and then she's like,
It's just gonna be
She'll
so
bleep me
funny.
out.
That's my favorite. That's my new tool.
"Yeah,
I
she
love
likes to
doing it.
bleep me out," and I'm like, "You can't bleep me out. That was a swear."
Don't care. I don't care. Sounds
I-
great. Bye.
I think my favorite meet cute of all time, it's gotta be the childhood enemies run into each other and they're like, oh, if I never see your face again, it'll be too soon. And guess what? It's too soon. And they just like immediately pick back up with the hate, like right where they left off. And it could be completely irrational. It could be over something like so small, like one time you pulled my pigtails in the playground and now I hate you forever. Like,
I have to really be in the mood to be in like a second
But-
chance type of situation, or like a.
but that for me,
It's
that
really
doesn't feel like,
second chance though,
because they forget.
But have history, or you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I just feel like, especially
I like
if
flesh meat.
yeah,
that you do.
but there's just something about people having chemistry
Here.
that withstands the test of time
Mhm.
and that they just like blow up around each other and that they're just like, I don't know what it is about her. I'm usually
She
like
used to read Luna Mare, huh?
level-headed person, but around her, just lose my fucking marbles. Yes. Speaking of which, let's talk about your guys' favorite tropes. This book did not do a very good job of the stripper trope, but have you guys read any books that had you maybe looking twice about a certain trope or like giving it another chance? Like, I know that with me, there's a lot of like taboo tropes that Sarah Kate opened my mind to because I'm just like, I never thought in a million years I could be into this, but the way that
So-
she so beautifully wrote it out.
So normally I am kind of somebody who totally views any kind of, I'm going to call it sibling relationship, whether they're foster siblings, step siblings, anything like that. But I don't know if I want to call it evolved or trained myself or just kind of broadened my horizon enough to open it to, if they didn't live together, I will accept it. I'm still not open to them being young and living together yet, because that is still a no-no for me. I still hardcore.
She does not appreciate the brother sister trope.
I do not.
Pornhub
But
does a lot though. That's
Yeah,
their
they do.
favorite thing on the planet. Sorry.
But if they did not live together, like say they became step siblings as like adults or something like that,
Yeah.
then I can maybe trick my mind into getting past it, or like, oh, okay, you know what I mean? I've worked on that. Did that answer what you were asking?
I think it's kind of like a
Kinda,
two-parter too, because it was kind of like a what are our tropes, but also what are tropes that
Oh,
have opened our mind up to. Kind
okay.
Of thing.
Well,
I
I'll
know
go
what
back to the
Ariel's
tropes
tropes
after
are.
you answer your.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So for
Yeah.
me, because I'm a weak bitch, as Ariel knows, and I've probably expressed it, I don't do the stalker trope very well.
Which
But then
that's
I read
one of my tropes.
It is. But I read Haunting and Hunting Adeline. And I was really, really in love with that. And I was great. It was great.
Yeah,
but
any
that's,
book,
but that's, and I think it just, it
and
depends
I
on
think
the
anything
author.
can be written in a way that can
Well,
be
that's the
enjoyed.
thing is
Because
so,
there's even so there. It's funny because I've even written reviews like that where it's like this book literally had so many tropes that I don't like, or so many things that I don't like, but somehow this author wrote it in a way that like I did enjoy it.
well, I'd like to finish my
with
story.
most Sarah Kate's books. But
I'd like to finish talking.
Sorry, Crystal.
No, it's fine. I was just giving Ariel shit because I wasn't done talking about it.
You're never done talking.
You don't ever shut the fuck up, dude. That's the thing is, so like reading that book, granted, there was that one book that Ariel told me to read and I hated it. And it was The Morally Gray. And I have a really hard time with Morally Gray. It bothered the shit out of me. But reading Haunting and Hunting Adeline, it's a lot of stalking. But it kind of like, if I can find similar authors to that specific book and similar styles of that book, I would be open to reading it.
So I obviously love a good stalking. I am a dark romance junkie anyway, so any dark romance and under that umbrella, I'm sold. I don't think there's dark romance that I don't like. Like, really, even just thinking about it, yeah, no, I don't think there's dark romance that I don't like. I'll read mostly anything in any genre, but dark romance is my jam. My jammy jams.
Because everyone confuses us. I like my rom-com.
Yeah, she does.
I'm a soft-ass bitch. But
Mhm.
the tropes I really like is I really do like a lot of enemies to lovers. I will fucking eat that shit up. Give me that. Give me neighbors. I love a good neighbor one. I love a sibling's best friend. Enjoy that shit. That's for me. I like a fake fiance, fake relationship
yeah, you do. You're
trope.
a sucker for a fake
I am
relationship trope.
such a sucker for those things. They're so good. That's like, what was it? Was it a Not So Meet Cute that we had that one where she was
Megan Quinn?
where she was fucking wandering around in the rich person's, was that book? She was walking around like looking for a rich boyfriend and he was just
yeah. Trolling the yeah.
That
yeah.
shit was
Took me a
so
second.
I love Megan Quinn. But like that's
shit,
the thing
man.
is like
You talking about that made me think, because like I'm obsessed with mafia romance and all that stuff. Does that count as? I think that counts as my dark romance sometimes. So like,
Yeah. So when
is that all under that umbrella? Because that's all that stuff.
It
all in
can't be
Yeah.
like, so Shane Rose, she does have her books. They center around these brothers that are the top of the mafia. And one of them, I think Corrupted Chaos is the name of the book. He's more into the, like, he works for cybersecurity and he works with the FBI. And like, he does
me and Crystal like a good security company trope.
So he's very much into the legalese side of things until he gets pissed and he's like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm also at the top of a fucking mafia family. So I can get
I like motorcycle clubs. I like all that kind of like the stuff that has the gritty and the grungy. And
there's a genre that I told Ariel I just want, and I didn't even read a book about it. I listened to a book, and it is a spy, suspense, romantic comedy. All of them in one. Yeah. Though I did read a spy book, which I actually kind of really enjoyed. Ariel would fucking hate it. But it's like the spy has severe OCD, and it's amazing. Yeah. And I love the books. They're so great. I loved them. But no, I love a good spy novel, but I like the romantic comedy portion included with the suspense where like he's a spy.
Did she have poor grammar?
No, actually it was an audiobook. And it was an Audible only, so it wasn't even an actual like physical book.
You find some good gems.
Listen, I have a love of certain audio actors. But
Daddy Joe.
I got you. But well, I'll tell you right now, Sebastian York is one of them. He's a big one. And Andy Arndt's a girl, but Andy Arndt's really, really good. Joe Arden's the other one. Zachary Weber's another one. There's like those main ones that I will search for them.
I think a good question getting deeper into the tropes is what's your one super specific scene trope that you just go absolutely nuts over?
I am a sucker for when those big, dominant, high in power, like those mafia men, or they feel like the heroine's like hurt or something, and he all of a sudden has to literally drop everything to care for her, whether they are in a position that they've already gotten somewhere in the relationship or not, because sometimes it's a point of contention and sometimes that brings them together.
Closer,
But
yeah.
I also am a sucker on, like, even on a non-romantic standpoint, my brain is constantly working when I'm reading and going ahead in a book. And I usually know everything that's going to happen as the book plays out. And so when a scene can twist and all of a sudden it can shock me what's going on, I am a sucker for that.
And it's happened to us a
Like if
couple of
something comes
times.
if something comes out of nowhere and I'm like, that is like everything, gold stars. Thank you. Give me more.
Don't judge me. Okay. Nobody's
Mine
Mine
are
are gonna sound so goddamn tame compared to the two of you. I really
I don't
like
think there's any
that's true.
like tame or
Right.
not tame. Like it's whatever does it for you.
Okay. Single dad romance with a nanny.
Yeah. God, I love that.
But
God, I love
I think
that.
she's asking like what scene in it really.
So like the nanny single dad trope can be done really well, and it can also be done really shitty. For me, like I don't mind an age gap, but like I have already discussed it with, I just don't like when they make a big deal out of it. So
You were telling us what scene does it for
right,
you.
I'm getting there.
Yeah.
So like I've read some books where it's like he moves to like this brand new town, like a small town, because again, it goes in with the small town romance, and girl, ugh, love
You
it.
eat it up.
Eat it up.
It's so good. And he like moves in from a big city into a small town and realizes he needs a nanny or baby whatever for his daughter or son. Usually daughter, though. I have noticed it's a lot more girl kids than boy kids, but that's
For
besides
the
the point.
single father.
Yeah.
It's like something about the daddy daughter.
Okay, listen, everyone likes a girl dad. But anyways, so I like when that happens and they have to hire somebody and like they hire the girl and her family puts her up for it or something. I don't know. I read a book where like it was supposed to be one specific nanny and something happened with that girl. So it had to be like someone related to her instead. And then that other girl ends up being the main female character. And he goes, "You're not this person. Are you even fucking qualified for this shit?" And questions it. And then she puts him in his fucking place. And then it goes from there. And it's great because she ends up being a sassy female main character. And I love that shit because I don't like, weak ass bitches as a female main character. And especially in a position of taking care of someone's kid. And it's nice because it's forced proximity because then she ends up living there. And they just kind of like build from there. And it like crosses over a lot of times with enemies to lovers too, kind of like not like super enemies, but enough where he's like,
yeah.
but there's friction. So it kind of combines a couple different tropes that I like together. And that's why I really like those ones, and I'll read those ones anytime. And that and like billionaire ones, like with the boss employee thing. Oh, prime. Love it. So good. Don't know why. I have a lot of problems, but it's one of the, but like the nanny dad thing like goes into it's all the things I love. Small town romance. It is that specific trope. It is romantic comedy because that shit's great. It's partial kind of enemies to lovers a little bit, so it kind of like combines a lot into one. And that kind of a book, like I will read that shit. I'll read the back of the book, be like, sold, done. Here we go.
What I really like, actually super appreciate about that trope is when the nanny never saw herself as like a mother type person, but then she like falls in love with the kid before she falls in love with the dad.
And it's not instant love of the kid.
Like, no,
and the kid is great.
So I think it would behoove us to cover how you guys had your own meet cute.
We have a super meet cute, actually. We actually have a legit meet cute.
Right. For us together, we have such a good
that's what I meant.
cute.
Like I meant to ask earlier when we were talking about meet cute so that we could cut that over there, but Crystal,
that's okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
it's my fault.
We actually have a legit meet cute, like a friend meet cute. So
it's so horrible.
So it was the end of the world.
The year was
2004.
2004. 2004. Okay.
Freshman year of high school in the yesteryears.
I thought it was the end of the world because my parents had moved me from this super busy place that literally had like over 1,000 kids in our graduating class to the boondocks, or what I thought was the boondocks. And they moved us to this like place surrounded by trees and all this stuff. And we literally had like 50 kids in my entire grade. And then all of a sudden I found out that I was going to have to apply to go to high school because we didn't have a high school in our town. And it was like a whole thing. But then
Our
my
towns
town
convert.
and Crystal's towns got together and made a baby.
And,
and
and
made
that
high
baby
school
was
together.
a high school.
And
they
built a high school together.
Yeah, because I grew up literally the next town over, and our school was a K through 12. So we didn't have to apply to high schools like she did.
They already had their stuff together, but their
The-
school was getting overcrowded and needed the space.
Mm.
But since this was brand new, we were legit the first kids getting to go to that school. We were the first graduating class. We were the first
like
kids admitted
the first class to go
that
all
would go
4
all
years.
through. We were the first freshman class of that high school. And so the first day of school was a clusterfuck because
You have two
they had to
towns
try
who
to
don't
get-
know each other, trying
And
to converge into
they
one.
tried as hard as they could to get the school ready in time. And honestly, it wasn't. They didn't have things where it was supposed to be.
I don't even think it was ready when we graduated.
To be fair, everybody's first day of freshman year is a clusterfuck. Nobody knows what they're doing or where they're going. But I can imagine it would be a little bit more difficult in a brand new school because I also
So we navigated ourselves into Algebra 2 honors class, and
as freshmen,
this-
smarty pants.
with
Yeah.
this crank. Well,
We
so
gave
that
up
was
real
the
quick
thing.
with math.
well, I didn't. Crystal did.
I did my
Oh.
junior year. I had enough credits my junior year that I did need to take a senior year of high school. So
I did them
so I did it.
anyways, so that I wouldn't have to do them in college. Like I did.
I didn't have to
calculus
do math
high
in
school,
college
so.
at all. So here we are.
So yeah, we had Algebra 2 honors class as freshmen. So when we got in there, and we didn't know each other, but our last names are at the end of the alphabet,
Our last names are next to each other.
and
Aw.
they're just both at the end. Well, they're both at the end of the alphabet. And
With an activity.
they didn't have enough desks,
So we had to share a desk.
so
Aw.
the teacher made us share a desk. And we had to do that for what, like 3 weeks before they
I
finally
feel like
got
it
a
was
desk
longer than
in
3
there.
weeks,
I feel
man.
like it was longer than that, but I'm just
But we had to share a
Provisional.
desk in math class.
for a long time.
Oh my
for a long
god, it
time.
was forced proximity.
It literally was.
It really was. We literally are. We should do one of those trope videos.
That is super popular now. All the authors,
That's what.
all
That's
the
what I was
authors
saying.
are doing like
They're doing their-
a
yep.
picture of like them and their significant other and doing like all their.
That's what I was saying. We should do our.
We should. That'd be great. Yeah. So
and
it's
we were,
just
we were
Perfect.
from enemy towns and forced to sit next because it was like a point of contention that first year. It was like
it was
this
rough.
town against this town. It was rough. That first year was rough. And I don't know why, because I was kind of newer and I didn't understand why everyone hated each other, but it was rough.
Yeah, it was just
So Crystal and I just talked to each other.
yeah, we just kind of like we just kind of grew to
Skated.
talk all the time. Yeah, we definitely fucking
We
skated
were in
our-
a lot of the same classes too.
Yeah.
And so we found that we had a very similar schedule.
Mhm.
So we just kind of did our thing. And we both like coped like through life through reading. So we always had like multiple library books and stuff. So we always went to the library together. And we were like the bane of the librarian's existence.
No, she likes us.
I think she forced liked us. I think we made
We
her.
read every single
We like read everything in that library.
yeah.
Like by the time we got
Okay, so when you say everything in the library, do you mean also like,
fiction.
Dude, we
okay.
read so fucking
All the-
much in this school.
so you spent 4 years in high school after becoming friends freshman year and reading everything out of your high school's library, and then you graduated high school, and what happened?
Crystal gets married
Well-
at 19. Crystal pops out a
Ariel
baby at
makes
21.
lots of I was gonna say Ariel made lots of poor life choices, and somehow all of those poor life choices.
Now, were they poor life choices or were they choices for the character development
I was just
slash
gonna
plot?
say.
They were poor life choices, but they all ended up so that somehow magically we. So this is another kind of, I guess, meet cute, but afterwards somehow we magically ended up pregnant at the same time by accident.
She literally texted me when I found out I was pregnant, and she goes, "If I'm fucking pregnant, also I'm gonna kill you. I'm
So
still
we were
alive,
both
bitch."
we were both not feeling well at the same time, and we both had like some of the same symptoms, and we were both getting like irritated about it. And then she found out, and I was so angry because I had all the same symptoms as her. So angry because it wasn't on purpose. And so our children are born 2 weeks apart, and just cemented our
Yeah.
Lifelong
flow.
friendship.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's our friendship has kind of gone from like we had a lot of drama in high school, but at the same time we were the drama. So we
Is it me?
It's okay.
Am I
It's
the drama?
It's okay to admit that sometimes.
like
I was a little bit more of a wild child in my youth, and then I settled down.
and then
an adult.
I became a wild child as an adult.
Yeah.
I hear that.
I was one of those kids that was like never home. I was hanging out with all the druggies. I was not doing that, but I was like hanging out with all the druggies. And like I was never home. I was just like looking to escape. And Crystal was like in our room reading. And then in our 20s, like I would be home with death babies, and she'd be out whoring it up.
Hell yeah. Auntie Ariel
Which
for
is
the
bad.
win.
Well, it made us both happy, so it works.
Well, the thing is like it's one of those things that like our friendship
That's what
as
we
we've
needed.
gotten,
That's what we needed at the time.
and that's the thing is like, and we have never like I got stuck in an abusive relationship, and Ariel was still there for me when I got out of it, and
I was
that
in
is
for a long, long test.
and that no exactly, and it's such a huge testament to a friendship, especially with a meet cute like ours, is we have literally been with each other through everything. Another testament to our friendship goes is my brother died, and she took my kid for me when that happened, and she made it a point to show up for me when my boyfriend at the time wouldn't go. Again, it's whatever.
Right. Yeah.
And Ariel literally was like, no questions even asked, was like, I'm gonna take your kid. And because it was such I was what 26, what was it, 2014? So I was like what 24 at the time. I don't remember what year it was. I have it tattooed on my body. I don't remember what it is. But it's
That's why you get things tattooed, so you don't forget them.
Exactly. But so it went from that into me transitioning into I'm no longer married. I'm no longer in this abusive relationship. What the fuck do I do? To like Ariel moving states away. Like we swapped at this point. But she lived far away. And then she moved back, and I was moving to Florida. And, we have still stayed friends.
Now we're doing long distance.
Yeah, and like we've still stayed friends, even being 12 to 1,500 miles apart from each other. She calls me every day, even though sometimes I get annoyed, and it's fine because it could have been a text message. But we'll talk for like my entire shift. We'll be on the phone for like 6 hours, and her son's like sitting there like, what the fuck? What are you
Can you get
doing?
off the phone now?
Get off the phone. And you're like, no, it's Crystal. This is important. And like, it's been a crazy like starting at the meet cute. And like, it's like a weird romance novel that's not, because we're friends, but like Ariel.
Though we did say that if we were
you
both
did-
unattached at 30, we'd just get married.
they would just marry each other. And
So Spencer better keep you.
I know. I told him he's my last man, baby. That's
Yeah.
it. And then he's gone. But it's just one of those things, like, it's cool because we can come together with our love of books
Come
and our
together right
that's
now
over.
me. Hell yeah.
But
Um,
it's really great. And we've gone through so many different life things together that I joke with her that she's never getting rid of me, that we're stuck together until we're dead, because
She knows too much.
that's why her hair's so big.
All the secrets.
So 2 things. I think that it is a romance novel because not all love is romantic, or not all love.
Not all
is
love
like,
is like a sexual love. Yeah.
Yeah, it is very much a romance novel, and it's like a platonic love, and that's completely beautiful.
We should write a
and
book.
2, we should write a book. We should buy a bar. All the that is the male equivalent. Anyway,
Fun fact about me, I can't get drunk.
No, I can.
We've tried for many years.
you cannot. Okay, don't get me started because I'm Dominican, and if anything is my mission in life,
She
who comes from the land-
legitimately
me who comes from the
Cannot
land of
get drunk.
fucking rum. Me
Oh,
who comes
Crystal
from
has
the
made it
land
her
of
mission for
rum.
many years Crystal
Oh,
made it
don't-
her mission for many years. It's
Don't
not
worry.
a thing.
When we hit our 2-year friendship anniversary, we'll all go to visit my family in Dominican Republic, and we'll get you there. Don't worry, Mama Juana. We'll do
My
the
body
trick, promise.
metabolizes alcohol too quickly or something, so it literally goes through me too fast. So I can get a buzz if I drink fast enough and enough of a quantity. I can get a buzz, but I can't get drunk enough.
It's really annoying.
You, I
I
promise.
would love to. I would love for you to.
She wants to be able to get
promise
drunk.
You,
I do.
I promise you, I will get you there. We have this saying in Dominican Republic, right? It's que corre sangre y no romo, which means we would rather let blood spill than rum. Yeah, I will
Like,
get
don't cry
you
over
there.
spilled milk. No, the person who said don't cry over spilled milk never was a mom.
Don't
my
cry over
God.
spilled rum. Please, let's be for real.
Yeah.
Okay, thing number 2. Because I had 2 things. Romantic love, platonic love. Thing number 2. So you guys have been friends throughout all these life events. Would you say that your love of books is something that you can always come back to ground your friendship? And even though Crystal is very much rom-com and Ariel's very much dark romance, and like, you know, it's just something that you guys, no matter what is going on in your lives, it's like, you know,
Yeah, I
points of
don't
contention,
think
'cause life is
that
like a thing.
we have to read the same things or like the same things. We do like a lot of the same things, but I don't
Mhm.
think it has to be that kind of thing, because even when our lives get super busy and we don't have as much time to talk, like before we were as busy, you know, doing this all the time, it might have been like a week and a half before I'd hear from her, and all of a sudden I'd get like 7 pages of a random book excerpt because she needs to
Dissertation,
share
yeah.
this. Yeah.
Mhm.
And vice
Oh, sorry.
versa. So
Yeah, I feel like it does kind of ground us as we, like, yeah, we met in a math class at a desk because we shared a desk, but we also shared a love of going to the library and reading. Like, we literally bonded over books too. It's long gone, no idea where it is. We wrote a lot of books together. It does not exist.
Oh
I
my
don't know where it
goodness.
is. I'm sure it is somewhere.
So English class for us was not about actually English class. We had notebooks upon notebooks of us just writing back and forth. And it was
That's
just like
amazing.
constant.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think, yeah, while we will have some similar interests in books, we don't always. And I think that if we liked all of the same books, it would get really boring.
Yeah.
And especially with the podcast too, if we liked the same stuff and had the same issues with everything, like, it's nice that we like different things, but we always can bring it back to our love of literature and books and all this other stuff to be like, hey, check this. Are you kidding me? Ariel would probably have never read Ice Planet by Barbarians if I'd never sent her that Goodreads review.
Probably.
No.
It's
Probably
one of
not.
those- or like, and there's other
Which
books
is
that
funny
she's
because
like-
I've read enough werewolf type stuff or shifter stuff. I've read enough
Monster romance.
do you have a dick in your throat? Do you have
Tentacle,
a ghost
probably.
dick in your throat?
Or an octopus
Vampire
tentacle.
I just
romance.
hold on, ready?
Oh,
That's what I heard.
He was doing this.
Oh, I thought she was going like this. And I'm like, do you have a ghost dick?
Hand
Oh, it looked like you had a ghost stick in your throat because your mouth
your
was like
fingers.
wide open. So
No, she meant blah, blah, blah.
blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
read, you know what I mean? But I never delved into that side of monster romance. You know what I mean? That
And then I took her out of her comfort zone with Morning Glory Milking Farm. That shit was wild from start to finish. It was great. And she
we
read the
bring
Mothman
each
book.
other in and out of our comfort zones. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But like we broaden each other's.
Wild from start to finish. That's chaos that works. Love is
Yeah.
not
Not.
chaos that works.
No.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
god, I'm about to say something really cheesy. I need you
Do
guys
it.
to brace yourselves. And that is what love is.
And that's the ending. No.
Cheers.
That's fantastic.
Bye for
no,
these things.
I think it grounds us as a, like, we have so many other things that we have in common and like sustain our friendship. But it is like, if we're having a bad day, something as simple as like a little book passage to send to each other that's like fucking off the wall ridiculous. Like when you were reading the book with the dude who may be a genie, I don't know. And
Well,
it's
yeah. Oh, so and honestly,
That's
I'm pretty sure that was the ticket that actually created this podcast. So
yeah.
I'm going to tell you.
Oh, let's
And
talk about
so-
that.
Yeah.
So we've always kind of shared different little excerpts. Like we always just kind of read our own thing. Like we might have said, oh, you should read this, or oh, you should read this, but it's never like, oh,
Let's
we have to read this
discuss
at the
it.
exact same time.
Yeah.
In
Buddy
high school, we
reading.
read a lot of buddy reading if we were trying to do something or different things, or if a movie was coming out and then they fucked up shit.
Oh, the other
I
Boleyn
did,
girl.
baby.
I thought you said if a booby was coming out, and I'm like, oh yeah, sure, you got to read that.
Yeah, those boobies gonna come out. Woo-hoo. No, as long as they're not mine.
Oh
No,
my
just
god,
kidding.
it's so cute. I love it so much. But yeah,
Um,
and so she was sending me all these like screenshots of it's the society books, right? That's what it was.
Yeah. I was
And
reading, yeah. So, well, I got down the rabbit hole by reading like the regular books. Now they're all a little bit of a hot mess, but there's the regular books of this thing, and I didn't mean to get down a rabbit hole. I just thought I was reading about a professor screwing a student.
But then
And
she
I thought it was
decided
just
to
gonna
be
be like-
Alice in Wonderland and go down the rabbit hole.
For real, because I thought it was going to be like this one thing, and then all of a sudden there was like 60 books later, got me to this like fuck of a book that I was like, Crystal, I need you to drop everything now. Meet me in the pouring rain. No, but seriously, I was like, you need to stop what you're doing, and I need you to read this book because like this is fucking wild. And like I don't know what's going on. I've read like 60% of this book, and I still don't know what's going on. But in a good way, not in a love is way, because
Yeah.
it's not
Let's be
trash.
for real.
I mean, it's trash.
No,
but-
I feel like
It's
I feel like this is so-
this book gets
this is
trash.
actually
I have
so
you singing
productive
a
because
song.
now
Learn how to use commas.
this is actually super good. This is super productive because now we have a new low bar. You guys,
Yeah, we do. It can only go up from here, baby. But
we
the
have a new
elevator's
low
going.
bar. Like we can't possibly read anything that's worse, and anything that's worse is actually going to be better because it will have a newer lower bar. Guys, it's a win-win.
Absolutely. But yeah, so she sent me all those screenshots, and then I was talking to Spencer, and this is prior to me texting Ariel about it, because I was telling Spencer, I'm like, maybe I should like think about doing just like a book club with Ariel. Like that would be kind of cool, and maybe grab like a couple
Where
other
we
people,
could
'cause-
continue reading
where
the
we
same
could
books at
continue
the
reading
same
the
time.
same books. And then I was like,
Because we really liked reading it at the same time and like texting each other as we were reading it, and they'd be able to
Yeah.
discuss it.
and actually,
Hashtag the thing that Angie was looking for.
yeah. And then Spencer actually commented about, he's like, why don't you make it into a podcast? And I was like, bitch, actually, that sounds great.
And I was like, no.
And she was
No, yeah,
very,
'cause, like,
she
I
was
mean, we
very
all have
weird
those-
about it at
we all have-
first.
We all have
She-
those conversations when we're talking with friends and we're like, holy shit, like if we had like a reality show, like fucking Kim Kardashian has nothing on us. Like that makes sense.
But I
But
mean,
her,
it
her
makes sense
huge-
in that theory, but I was like, no.
her big thing is when I approached it with her, she didn't want to sound stupid or
Because I normally
awkward
do.
or awkward on audio. And I think I even said, I'm like, well, why don't we try it? And if we don't like it, we don't have to.
Yeah, you
At
kind
the very,
of.
at very least, I wanted to be able to speak about it. Like,
Yeah, you
over-
kind of sold it as a why don't even if we're just recording it for us, just
do it.
record our thoughts. That way, we're just like talking to each other and just like getting to, instead of just like not knowing where we are in the book, like what we were doing with the fucking wrong number, and just texting randomly as we go. Wait till we're done the book and then spew everything
like an
together
actual book club, but it would just be the two of
Right.
us.
on
And
recorded.
yeah, and then so it kind of went from there. Our first episode is a fucking hot mess.
Oh, it's awful.
And somehow
It's
our
rough.
third most listened to episode, and it's awful. And like I joked
It's
about
awful.
taking it down once. I'm not going to. but
Don't.
I won't. But
It took us, I want to say it took us at least 20 episodes to really find our groove.
girl, I
We
don't think
didn't
even
know
have
what
20
we were
episodes
doing.
out.
Well, and that's kind of the problem. So the first 10, we just recorded all willy nilly, like as if we were just talking to ourselves and doing our thing. And then Crystal was like, no, I'm going to release these. I think this works. And I was like, okay, thinking it wasn't going to do anything and thinking that we were just going to be listening to ourselves and no big deal, whatever. Because it was, I mean, I find us amusing because I find myself amusing, and I mean, I find us amusing. So,
And it,
like most people do.
and
So
really,
listening to it back was fine.
and it worked really well too, because even if I think that with our history of friendship, it was easier for Ariel to speak to me and forget that we were recording, which happens a
And
lot.
that's the thing. Yeah.
And it was just
it was
because
as if we were just on a call together and I wasn't thinking about it.
And she was so concerned at first. And I was like, no, because here's the thing is that it comes across as so much more authentic if we're just talking like we're talking like normal people and we're not like sitting here sounding ridiculous or like being uncomfortable with other people. Like if Ariel was to do this with somebody else, I think we talked about that and she was like, I couldn't do that.
No,
because you don't
well, it
censor
got
your
so
stuff.
problematic, especially in the earlier episodes because, well, we record ahead, but it got so problematic because it literally was. It was just like me having a normal conversation with you. So I have no filter. Like I was just saying whatever
and some of
the
that
fuck
shit is
flew out of my
so
head.
fucking funny.
Which, sure, sometimes, but some of it's so chaotic. So it took us a while to learn and streamline and learn, oh, we actually need kind of a format to what we're doing amid the chaos, you know.
But I think that the fact that it's so conversational and that you guys know each other, that you feel so comfortable to just say your most honest opinion about the book is what makes the podcast and the book club work, because a lot of people will do these and you never know their true intentions, whether they're like getting paid to sponsor something or like they really want to get people to read this book because they have a personal stake in it. But you guys, you're just like, okay, we're going to spin a wheel and that's what we're reading and fuck it all. I think
that's what it is. Like we don't even choose our own.
The fact that Ariel has no filter and that she's so comfortable with you means that y'all can get, and y'all, the audience, can get the most honest reaction, whether it's like nice from Crystal or like not nice, diplomatic from Crystal, or
and more
learn
I'm
to
a
use
judgy
grammar.
bitch.
Yeah.
Learn to use grammar
From Ariel. Learn what a cut. And that is, I think that is the beauty of the Smutty Book Club. And that is what makes it special.
She has to rein me in.
And she has to rein me in sometimes because I'll go off on a fucking tangent.
Let it go.
That's what we've learned. We've learned a lot as we've gone, and we've learned like as we go. And that's why we've learned kind of like to streamline a little bit of like we don't want to rein in who we are, but we kind of want to follow a path, so we're not so.
And
we don't want to sound like Love Is.
So it's that, and
we keep coming back to the book anyway.
I know, and
I'm so good at bringing it back. Bring it back now, y'all.
And it's not to even say that it's been an easy road either. We've had a lot of growing pains. There is a lot of audio that's never going to be heard because it's just us straight up fucking arguing with each other in the middle of an episode.
But it's right, and we
productive
because
it's just
and that's the thing. The 10 or 12 episodes was literally just us recording for fun, and so it was after that we actually started to be like, oh, okay,
okay.
How can we?
Let's be honest here, Ariel. After the 12th episode, Ariel realized that I wasn't going to stop recording the podcast.
So I wasn't going to throw you under the bus like that, but
okay, I'm going to throw myself under the bus.
Crystal's brand of ADHD is that she hyper focuses on like one activity for and totally goes all in. Like
I get that.
Balls to the wall, but it's short lived. Usually, she's like a 6-month like max kind of girl. So I wasn't super putting myself out there because I didn't know how long this was gonna
go for. Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to invest myself into doing something
because it's also a lot of
Crystal's
time.
gonna get bored because it's a lot of work.
It's time consuming and
I know. I'll
this
throw
is
myself
like become
right
our whole lives.
I don't care.
Honestly, I mean, fuck.
I'm Regina George, bitch.
I literally have a set of drumsticks in the corner of my room that I'm like, no, it's not a phase. I'm gonna learn how to fucking drum.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's just, so after we got over
my hyper focuses last, like mine are ridiculous. I will go all in and mine last ridiculously long, and I will only solely focus on that one thing for
I commit
ever.
Yeah,
I super
commit to the bit.
Don't worry because
I can only play one video game,
Ariel,
at a time.
Were you a super gifted and talented kid?
You know that? I am not telling you the program I was in, okay?
Yeah.
That's why you can't quit a hobby in ADHD hyperfixation without at least being above average, because the trauma of like,
I have to like, that's what I was saying with the video games. I have to fully 100% complete them before I can go on to a new video game. Like, absolutely.
Well, so
and that also comes with being like an underprivileged family, like growing up. Like, if you were going to do a hobby, you have to make sure it was worth your parents' time and money.
And it's funny because I did 11 years of soccer, 11 years of softball, 4 years. I did a lot of things for long periods of time.
And now as an adult, you're able to make those choices.
My plants are still alive, and I've had those for well over a year, bitch. It's just, it's gonna, but I now
You're a good plant mom.
Well, I am a great plant mom. I do have like a board in my kitchen that has specific projects on it to do, because I will think of them and then I need to write them down or I forget. So I have a whole board with that, but I have so many things like everywhere.
I saw this guy and he was like, if you are an adult with ADHD, you have to walk around with a notepad and a pen in your pocket, because when you commit your time to helping people out, or you commit your time to doing hobbies or something, you have to write it down, because you will not account for that time otherwise. And yeah, you can use your phone trackers, but what if you forgot to write it down in your tracker? No, you have to write it down, physically write it down, and then it's there and it's on you at all times.
We got way off topic.
Yeah. We were saying it's good that you guys, even though you read, especially because you read different things, that you use your reading and your book club and the podcast to ground your friendship. Yes, but because you like different things and you spin things out of a wheel, you can always trust that the podcast is not for any other purpose than to just be a book club. It's not.
I remember where I was going with that.
It's really broadened our horizon, because we, especially Crystal, she's getting good at just like throwing the most random shit in our wheel.
It's
so
to fuck with her.
Where I kind of hit my staples and like we'll just kind of hit, dark, this, that, and which we've learned now, and we are going to revisit the wheel soon so that we can add some more stuff in it and kind of balance it out a little. Because
almost deep dark depression, and we had to take a week off.
This is part of our learning process. We just, things that we didn't know and we're learning as we go. That when I could come into it with like, I really think we would enjoy these books. And Crystal came into it as,
no.
I think we should try all of these genres. Either Ariel's happy or we're trying something new today, with a little sprinkle of Crystal being happy put in. And it's not a good balance sometimes. But we do truly like the trying new things. And so we really want to put more of that kind of stuff in and really just broaden different things.
And the biggest thing for me, and it's only because we both have control freak tendencies. So you should hear our
I'm awful.
You should hear our fucking phone conversations or read our texting thread, because we are assholes to each other sometimes. But
we talk to each other like siblings at this point.
Yeah, but
it's kind of hard not to. You've known each other for 20 years.
Exactly. But my biggest thing going into everything is because we went through a structure change through the podcast, which I don't think it's hit yet. Or it has hit
for specials, but it has not hit for
our
regular
episodes yet. And we went through a structure change because, we talked about it, and follow more of what you have seen with
that's what we were talking about with the
but I wanted to make sure that we did not sound scripted, because to me the biggest thing would be,
and even though we weren't coming in with a script, we were just following a forward timeline of the book versus she didn't want to take out our authenticity,
because that was
a big outline.
I didn't want to, like Ariel said, take out our authenticity, because I feel like if we start sounding scripted, it's going to sound like some other like
generic
book podcast, and it's not going to be true to who we are as actual people. And that's why you'll notice normally, I do now, I have to write something out, but normally I don't come with notes. And I did it for a while because my issue is I'll read them. Shut your mouth. Because if I read my notes, I sound extremely scripted because I read them. And so I have to learn how to read them without sounding as scripted. And that's
that was part of our learning process.
It comes with time.
10, 12 episodes.
That's what I'm saying is, But that's also why I read the book the night before, because I need it fresh in my
Right.
brain. And we had this conversation too.
Because
Is the main reason I read it the night before and I don't do a palate cleanser between the book that we're discussing and whatever
The
and
next
the
book,
day
yeah.
of the podcast is because
you need it fresh.
I need it fresh because I will start mixing stories in my head. And I'm
Mhm.
like, wait, it was in this book. I'm like, nope, fucking completely other book. And so
Yeah.
I had to learn that from I am writing notes and I do come with some more notes, but it's come with a lot of learning. It's come with a lot of readjusting. It's come with both of us kind of trying to adjust our control tendencies
And
to
trying not
each
to
other
micromanage
and trying to balance out what each of us
because
want
we
to
both have
control.
different visions and we have to mesh it together.
For sure.
And obviously there's always going to be things that get lost in translation because sometimes we don't know how to communicate with
Because I suck at communicating.
We both suck at communicating. No, we
do.
both
We do.
suck at
I
communicating.
know, we do.
And
I think
sometimes
that-
the way
I
that
think
my brain processes things is not the same way her brain processes things. And that's
Mhm.
we've had plenty of conversations where it's only been miscommunicated.
We're like, we cannot text anymore because
no,
the words are not, we need to verbally have
Wording.
this conversation
because the
because
words don't
this
come
is not
across.
working.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
the words don't. So it's been a huge learning process, but I never want us to lose our authenticity at all because then
So, for
Ariel,
example of that,
you listened to a
sorry.
podcast that was rough.
yeah. Well, for example of
Not
that,
us.
if you notice, if you kind of follow us on like socials and stuff, we kind of just post about what we are reading or what like on the podcast or what we are reading personally. We're not advertising things.
No.
And we're not pushing. We made a big deal about a special that we just did recently that was our first arc together for the podcast. And we did it very hesitantly because we didn't want to get into a situation where sometimes when you get into an arc thing, you have to advertise it too. And we had to make sure of what arc we were choosing and that we were just arc reading it and not advertising it because we didn't want to play that game because we don't ever want to be that kind of thing.
You don't want to promote a book. You want to review a book.
Exactly. And we're not a part of people's like street teams like that because we don't want to be responsible for telling people like
go read this
or
thing.
misleading or know what I mean?
And if we're going to be part of a street team, we're part of one singularly
individually
outside of the podcast.
Right. Exactly. That's what I meant.
That's what we use our personal, like my personal page and her.
Exactly.
Ariel's not on.
We
social.
do a lot of arc stuff on our own, just not.
But our huge thing is we always want to stay authentic and like, even if further
like if a book is trash, we're
trash.
telling you it's trash.
Like this book.
But if a book is good, we're telling you,
it's good.
Are you kidding me? I don't think I have 5 out of 5 one time on this podcast. Sorry, spoiler alert.
I mean, not
Hopefully
really.
we'll get there.
Spoiler. If you've gotten this far in this episode,
if you've gotten this far, kiss that brain of yours.
We're keeping it alive. And we're back to Love Is.
Oh, fucking hell. Love Is. That book was garbage.
Love is garbage.
And it was not a trash panda like Ariel tried to say men were, because trash pandas are great.
What did I change it to?
Just trash. Your accent on that was so fucking funny. I don't know. You say trash fingers all the time.
But it was like, no, instead of a trash panda, I changed it to something else. Trash Muppet.
Yeah,
that's
trash
what I changed
Muppet.
it to.
That was a trash Muppet.
Oh my God.
Any more
questions?
What do you think that maybe we are missing that maybe people should know about us or should know about like our book habits or whatnot that they don't already know? Because I mean, it's not like we're shy on here.
You're not. I think that
but
a lot of the time, because a lot of the stuff that you post on TikTok is just snippets of this. I think that your personalities are never really introduced because, again, it's just snippets of the podcast. It's just teasers meant to entice. But I feel like if you were to post one where it's just like pinned to the top of your page where your personalities are just very pronounced, where Chris is just like, rom-com, and you're just like, suckers. And it's just like, but it very clearly like outlines who you are as readers. And just have that one pinned to the top of the page. I think that would help.
We
I
can
think that's
pin
why we
multiple
try to make
episodes.
sure. Yeah. I think that's why we try to make sure that we do those like monthly wrap ups and things like that to really showcase like what we're reading on our own too.
And we're
and the
still
differences.
getting a hold of the social media stuff and trying
Oh,
to
yeah.
explore more
Like,
things about it.
This is a whole new world for like
for her.
on
Jesus
my
fucking Christ.
my personal TikTok has no videos because that's just like
literally
my world. I don't do a lot of social media, so this is like sorry that you're stuck with me. That's adventures.
Unfortunately, I grew up with social media, so it's like
well, it's not that we didn't. I don't even have that excuse.
Ariel just doesn't like to use it.
Chose not to.
Yeah, I think, but that's partially why I had called Ariel.
To say we're the perfect age to know all
mid thought. It was the other day, and because we were talking about this book, and it literally came to me as an ADHD dream because that's how all my ideas come to me. But it was just a thought, and that's why I wanted to do an episode similar to this. Whereas all of our episodes, yes, you get our personality in there, and because that's just how we are in the whole episode in general. But after hearing the comments that Ariel has gotten about how everyone thinks I'm the dark romance reader and she is the rom-com reader, and it's completely opposite. And I felt that we needed something for like a get to know you kind of thing. And that's why I was like, why don't we do like a Q&A? Originally it started as a Q&A between her and I, but then Ariel's like, maybe we should bring someone else in, because honestly, if the thing with Ariel,
we were just asking each other questions.
I love her, but if
I would have nothing,
it's not even that. She would want to know the exact questions I was going to ask so that she could prepare herself ahead of time. And then no one would be surprised. Yeah. And that would be not authentic. We will lose the humor. It will turn into a super, super serious thing. And that's not who we are as people. Yeah. And if we both are serious and talk through it, and like sometimes we'll have really dark books where we have to throw humor into it.
And I couldn't do this with anyone else because I wouldn't just randomly be able to
singing.
Absolutely not. Anybody who's listened to any of our episodes knows I can't sing, but I'm going to anyways because of the company I keep.
And that's what true friendship is all about.
Absolutely. Exactly. It's a good balance. We're a good balance of chaos and control.
I think that my last question is, how would you describe your counterpart as who they are as a reader? So, Ariel, how would you describe Crystal as a reader, aside from last minute reader? Aside from that,
aside from her being a fluffy rom-com princess,
I've got words for myself.
Yeah, you're gonna go with my neurotic.
And for Crystal, again, how would you describe Ariel as a reader?
So, Crystal likes to speed read.
That's what I was waiting for.
Yeah, she knows where I was going. Yeah, Crystal likes to speed read, which is both positive and to her detriment sometimes, because I think she gets so excited about a book that she just like gobbles it up and just like
we've all been there.
Eats it up so fast, but then sometimes she'll gets to parts and she'll be like, "What the fuck? How did that?" Because she missed parts because she like went right over it. It reminds me of like when you're reading and like sometimes your eyes can drift to the bottom of the page and you like accidentally But I think she just like when her eyes drift, she just keeps going.
She just like, what? Nope, I'm done with that. Like, no, just follow the quotation marks, the dialogue. What are they saying?
So I think she just gets like super, super stoked to read about her stuff that she just like has to like chew through it. So she just like gobbles it up and just like, which is just her style. I've been that kind of reader before. We've been in that flow where we've switched places. You know what I mean? So like, that's why I feel like I understand where her brain is at to do that. If I'm right or wrong, maybe not. I feel like I get it. If that's the answer to your question, I guess I think she just gets into it and wants to get her stuff and like plowing through. And she's also a night reader. So like, she's just, instead of sleeping, she just likes to.
Yeah. Insomnia is a real bitch.
Yeah, it is.
It's a real bitch if you weren't a reader, because if you weren't a reader, God, that would be terrible. But instead, you're up reading. So, silver linings.
Yeah.
She also can go in and out too. Like, it's not an obsession with her where she could be obsessed with something else for a month and not read something and then pick it right back up. Like it's nothing. Like, I'm back to my books now. Like, you know what I mean? And I think that's great because I love that that thought process where it's like, you know,
I think that that's one of the things when it comes to like bringing it back to your love of reading and your love to each other. Like, it doesn't matter what happens, like life may get busy, things might go awry, but it's something that you can always come back to and ground yourselves to.
So on the opposite end of the spectrum, I'm gonna be nice. No, the thing is this with Ariel, because you do that, but she is more, and it depends on the book.
yeah.
Because there are times where she will destroy a book faster than I can destroy a book, like not physically destroy, but you know what I mean. And
Eat it up.
eat it up real quick. But she is more going to find every single word spelled wrong, every single grammar issue, a huge timeline thing, which works to our advantage as far as planning things out because she and I can rely on her to timeline things out. Or if I have an issue where I'm reading and it happened recently,
And she gets deeper in those character feels.
right, I more,
so it's that back.
yeah, like she can stay more outside looking in of a character. It helps too looking outside in because it does allow her to separate and be able to read multiple books at the same time and be able to separate out the different stories and know, okay, well, this story is going along this storyline, but this story is going like completely separate books. Like she can read probably like 2 or 3 books at the same time, like and flip flop between them. But that's more than that. I'm just saying like around probably it's probably like 7 at a time. But it's more.
I try to keep it. But sometimes it can get that far, yeah.
But it's nice because she can keep that mindset of being on the outside and being able to separate out the different stories and be able to read multiple books all at the same time. Whereas I can't do that. I have to read one at a time or I'm fucking lost. But it helps podcasting wise because she can lay out the outline. She knows like the timeline and this. And like, I know if I have a question about a timeline, which I did recently, I would text her and be like, hey, so this is what I'm reading, but it's not adding up in my brain. Can you please make it make sense? Or like, is something off? Like it's sometimes
did I miss something or
right. Yeah. And sometimes I'll point out something that she missed, but vice versa, she'll point out stuff that I've missed. So her reading style and my reading style being so different, but also again, like she said, we do flip. Yeah, sometimes we do flip flop how we read, and sometimes I'll be more into a book and she'll be kind of
it's
gliding.
Not usually like
it.
Book to book. I just meant like through our life, kind of.
Well, yeah, there's ebbs and flows of there'll be some times where that happens, and sometimes we switch back, and it can even she likes her specific genres of books and being able to bring those into the podcasting and kind of if I'm having an issue with a book, sometimes I think you've even said to me like, well, look at it this way instead. And it kind of changes the mindset of how I'm reading a specific book. Like explaining to me how secret societies work because I struggled getting through The Sinner. I still struggled. It was really hard for me.
That wasn't your normal world anyways.
No, but so having to be able to have that where that's her world and knowing where her mindset is with those specific things can get me into, please explain to me how this world works so that I can better understand it on my side. Whereas I bring more of like an emotional
connection
aspect into things and be like, well, you have to look at
and that's exactly it.
And I will defend characters that she hates, and I'm like, here, like this is why you should like them.
That's the thing. She will insert herself right in to the book. Sometimes that doesn't work out for her very well, but most of the time, it gives us an insight to a better emotional aspect. I'm more looking for an escape from myself. So I'm looking to be in someone else's world, not bring.
No, I get that. I've had both experiences where I'm haunting Adeline. So there have been there's times where I feel like I'm in the room with them watching from a third POV. And there's times, especially in the second book, when it gets really rough, when you feel like you are Addie and these things are happening to you, and it's really hard to separate. So having those two things be in two different bodies, like it is with you guys, is actually super beneficial, and it's super complementary because you have the emotional intelligence on Crystal's side, and then you have the technical intelligence on Ariel's side, where it's like, okay, well, this is how the timeline is going, and Ariel's like, but they didn't fall in love yet.
It works to have the complementary like ways of views and stuff, and sometimes it's to our
Sometimes
own
it makes us
detriment.
bicker. Yeah, sometimes it makes us bicker.
Yeah,
I shouldn't say
That's the
sometimes.
spice
A lot
of
of
the
times it makes
sauce.
us bicker.
we bicker a
But
lot.
it gives us, it gives us those talking points too, though,
Mhm.
because we're passionate about how we feel about it, but we're also expanding
That's a seasoning
each
for the
other's
cake.
thoughts on it.
It's been an interesting experience for sure, but it's been nice.
But it's been fun. Like I wouldn't not do it.
Also,
A
I bought
delicious
6 books.
casserole and the bickering is the seasoning. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Bit.
So off
Love
of that,
it.
I don't know if
Love it
either
so
one of
much.
you, Ariel, might have seen it. I don't know if you have Emily Rath's video that she just did recently. So she posted a video talking about how she has all these PhDs. She's a very smart lady.
Oh yeah, I saw
And
that.
she didn't know she was ever, and she never got respect even with her PhDs. And now she writes romance and she gets even less respect. And people are like, smut, smut, smut. The ending of that whole thing, and she went on a whole rant. And you know what? Fucking, I'm so proud of her because she ended it saying, stay bothered, which is perfect. And like, it sucks because like I have the ultimate respect for anyone who can write smut well and anyone who can write smut in general, because it's not hard. I mean, it's not easy. It's hard. It's not like, and especially like with her, with pucking around, like, bitch, that's a lot to handle in that
Yeah.
long ass book. And it just like, it bothers me that there is this huge stigma around romance authors. And honestly, like every one that we've talked to a few of them just throughout like podcasting and like just interaction wise. And they're some of the nicest fucking people. It's so sucky that people have this huge, oh, you read smut, you read romance, that's kind of trashy. Bitch, I could fuck your girlfriend better than you can.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Yeah.
Come
and
on.
And it's just like, and here's the thing, and it's just like the men who are like, oh, like that's why I love that I smell like sound got so popular, especially in the book community, because everybody's like, oh, you read romance, that's like setting unrealistic expectations for
Yeah,
men.
it is.
And then like
Good. Set
I
those
smell
unrealistic
it because
expectations.
it's not hard. He literally just shut up and listened.
The bar is on the floor.
The bar was on the floor.
Here. It is on the floor.
Hell now.
The
It
roof-
is in hell's basement.
Roof
I
is
don't-
on.
Yeah, and then we can get a really hot fireman to come help take care of it.
It's bedtime. I'm like,
Yeah,
my
I
brain
know.
is like a minute.
But no, it's one of those things, like that's probably my biggest thing, and what I've learned throughout all of these years of reading, and including going from reading fiction, nonfiction, romance, everything like across the whole board, is the amount of stigma that people get for reading romance over reading even a fantasy book. Like people look upon people who read
real reading.
and if they're like, that's not real, that's not a real book. It is a real book. It's real things happening to real people, and it's an escape for most of us. And honestly,
Sometimes the things that are brought up in these books are more
real
thought-provoking
issues. And they're
than-
like, and they're real issues that people go through. Like they show real struggles in some relationships. And they show real struggles within like an actual person. Are you fucking kidding me? If I want to read something about a happy ass romance novel and a rom-com,
But sometimes
Yes.
I want to read that somebody's having a worse time than me.
and exactly, that's the thing. And like romance covers the entire fucking spectrum of
I
things.
know that
And-
sounds awful.
And that's
No, it
and
doesn't. It's fine.
Yeah, it's healing and it's catharsis that fucking 10 years in therapy couldn't do to you. That you can get through 200 pages in a romance novel. And that's, I feel like a lot of the reasons why it's so discredited is because of the way that, therapy was so taboo for such a long time.
Yes.
until the new generation, like the millennials and the fucking Gen Zers were like, yeah, no, I talk to my therapist all the fucking time. And like, it made it mainstream. And I feel like now that romance and contemporary romance is getting a little bit more mainstream, it's a little bit more like we have more of a leg to stand on, but people will still shit on it. Like, and I'm just like, it's healing and it's catharsis. And if it's not for you, that's fine. But
There
shut up.
are some romance books that people have literally stated have saved their lives.
Yeah.
But I know Ariel's about to fall asleep, but thank you, Angie, so much for bringing us questions. Of course, bringing us questions, chatting with us pretty much all week so we could figure this part out. This was something that honestly, because I think I even told Ariel I wanted to do something similar like this at some point anyways. And I guess because this book was so terrible, this was a great time to do it. But it ended up just working out as far as we became friends on TikTok. We did one episode together and now we're in a group chat together. And it's just like a really natural progression of like getting that outside help. And like,
she's our book bestie now.
yeah, we're not going to do that to everybody, but
Well, we're
like,
gonna have a gang.
it helps. It helps us. It
A
helps
smutty
us.
gang.
We want to be able to connect people who follow us on TikTok and listen to the podcast and stuff. Anyways, like we want to be able to have those connections. We're awkward as hell, so we're not going to reach out first. Like if you message us, we'll message you back. Like that's the thing. We want people to shoot their shot. We really do because
yeah.
like we're never going to make the first. We're never going to make the first message. I'm going to be honest.
Ariel's about to go to sleep, but I just wanted to take the moment to thank you guys for welcoming me into the book club because I've talked about this before, but I have been trying to get somebody to speak book with me for so long that I have quite literally bought Kindles for people and as like a please read with me and
they
it's
suck.
so like having a group and a special place where I could like be like, hey, like I'm not just reading to ignore the world. I have like certain people that I can like share these things with, like Ariel.
No, we love it.
Read this one book of this like hockey stalker, and he was just a lot. But
that was so much.
It makes my heart so happy hearing
Crystal,
about it too.
If that book is on your list, take it the fuck off.
What book?
The Pucking Wrong Number.
It wasn't. I kept going to add it, and then I kept reading the description, and then I don't read it.
No,
I really
it's like that other book on fucking steroids. He is fucking. It's a lot.
Gotcha. But no, it makes my heart happy to hear that too, because we want to be a safe space for people.
Yeah, you guys
like
we
try
and more.
Plus, we found a kindred reader.
Yeah, thank you again, Angie.
Night.
Wheel of Fate. Let's spin this motherfucker.
We still need to choose a book for next time.
So we're gonna do the wheel.
Hopefully, this book does not suck ass.
If anything, the wheel is a cruel, cruel mistress and just decides whatever it wants. Okay, are you ready? Are you ready for this?
Are you ready for it?
Fucking hell.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
I'm gonna spin it. We are doing The Games We Play by Katie Ray, and it is a sports romance. So, I care about you both. You don't have to choose, baby. I tried to keep to myself, wanting to stay hidden from my ex, but staying hidden was hard once I met two megastar athletes. Especially when they lied to me about who they really were. I didn't follow sports. How was I supposed to know they gave me wrong names? Their name game didn't stop me from falling for them, though. In fact, their little games made me forget I even had a reason to hide. We found ourselves navigating a new and exciting relationship that none of us saw coming, one that I feared was bound to go up in flames. And things got even more complicated when my ex showed up at my door. This is not a love triangle. This is an MFM. There are laughs, heart, and steam. Remember, they are new to these feelings within these pages. But FYI, there is also assault, attempted sexual abuse, and kidnapping.
Jesus.
This really is an Ariel book.
I said, yeah, but no sword crossing, so bummer nuggets.
Oh, man.